Green Tree Productions is proud to present Duncanville Weekly News. It's the good news just for the City of Champions, Duncanville, Texas. And now, here's your host, John Thompson.
Hello world, America, Texas, and Duncanville, and welcome to this edition of Duncanville Weekly News for the last few days of April and the 1st of May, 2016. Glad you're logged on and watching. Well, as you can see, we're at the baseball field, and Coach Fahey will be in here shortly to tell us about the Duncanville Panther baseball team. But first, the local elections are coming up pretty soon, and where to vote and who to vote for may be something you need to find out. And we'll get into that right after the Panther basketball banquet highlights, which are right now. The Panthers basketball team held their banquet at Dave & Buster's restaurant in Arlington for the first time in about 4 years, and it was a small, cozy room with very few parents in attendance. Coach Corey Chisholm reviewed the past season and highlighting the ups and the downs.
Something we did. Okay, so that just shows you that person. But what people also don't see, they don't see the what we call acute injuries. You know, the ankle,
and then passing out participation certificates to all the players.
Here talks. Terrell Hurd, Tyler Watt, Miles Duke.
Then Coach Corey Johnson, the junior varsity coach, followed with his report. Robert Purvey, the FCA associate, spoke to the team.
But the Lord brought me to you guys through FCA this year, and I can honestly say I've never met a coaching staff or a group of kids as great as you guys. You guys are awesome.
And then the recognition of some other folks by Coach Corey Chisholm, and it was a season highlight DVD time. It is that time, city and school board elections. Early voting is April the 25th to May the 3rd at the library conference room. Election day is May the 7th, and as usual, you'll vote at Byrd, Reed, or Fair Meadows, depending on your precinct. We have a race for mayor again this year. Incumbent David Green will be challenged by Mark D. Cooks. In District 2, incumbent Steve Rutherford will meet Gwenda Joyce Lowe, and in District 4, Ron Dodson, the incumbent, will face Lorraine Hood Jack. Kind of an unusual situation with the Duncanville School Board of Trustees, as incumbents Tom Kennedy and Phil McNeely are running unopposed, as is Joe Veracruz, who filed against a current member who chose not to seek re-election. Once again, for the 33rd straight year, the Duncanville Chamber of Commerce and the Duncanville Rotary Club will sponsor the 2016 Candidates Forum. It'll be in the City Council chambers this year, and it'll be on April the 21st at 7 o'clock. Of course, all the candidates are invited to attend this event and to participate. I don't know, maybe one or two candidates in the past 33 years have won the election without attending this forum. Come and bring your questions. The 33rd Candidates Forum.
It's springtime in Texas, and that means Duncanville Panther baseball right here on Duncanville Weekly News and the Panther Dugout Show. The Panther Dugout Show brings us updates and highlights of the past few games and a peek ahead to the Panthers' next games. The Panther Dugout Show is brought to us by James Memorial Chapel, the Pope Financial Group of Raymond James, by the Wolverton Company, serving the heating and cooling needs of the Duncanville area for longer than anybody can remember, Jim McDonald State Farm Insurance Agency, right here on Main Street. Remember, State Farm and Jim are there. Leon Miller Commercial Properties. Need some commercial space? Call Leon at 972-709-7181. By Roma's Italian Bistro at 100 South Main. Call 972-298-5900 for free delivery or dine-in. Entries are prepared freshly cooked for every order. By Glow Family Dental, General and Cosmetic Dentistry. Your smile is their top priority. They are here at 427 West Wheatland or call 972-298-2027. Glow Family Dental. And by Ambit Energy. You have power options. Call me at 214-918-9981. You'll be glad you did. And now with the Panther Dugout Show, here's John with all the highlights.
Hello, Duncanville baseball fans, and welcome back to the Panther Dugout Show. As you can see, Coach Scott Fahey is with us now to talk about the Duncanville Panther baseball games that have happened recently. And Scott, you're in the middle of the district. Tell us about the last few games.
Well, we had been playing pretty good second half of district. I kind of run into a rough stretch where we were in some tight ball games and just couldn't seem to pull them out, in the end. But we're still in the thick of things. Still have a chance to get in. We just got to win the right games at the right time.
Well, go over the last 2 or 3 games with us.
All right. Mansfield came to town for another District 8 6A contest. Here we are going over the ground rules with Coach Vaughn. Panthers started sophomore George Trevino on the mound. First round of district play, Mansfield got our number and beat us pretty easily. But in the bottom of the first with no score, George leads off with a sharp single back through the middle. Gets the offense started against Mansfield. That's followed by a walk from Nick Chavez. That puts runners at first and second with nobody out. Then with one out, Osvaldo hits a ground ball to the right side. It's bobbled by the second baseman, and George hustles around third base to score a run. And then Chavez, trying to go first to third, is thrown out by the catcher for the second out of the inning. Inning continues with a base on balls to Hector Cron. But that's all the Panthers could muster in the bottom of the first. In the bottom of the second, with the score tied at 1, Noah Martell lofts one in the shallow right. That falls down, and with Noah at first base, Devin McPhail bunts, and the pitcher's unable to complete a force out at second base. He throws it into center field, and the Panthers have action with runners at first and second in the bottom of the second. George comes up, hits into a fielder's choice with the runners at second and third. That drives in Martell from third for the Panthers' second run. In the third inning, Mansfield scored 4 to run the score to 5-2. And in the bottom of the third, we get a leadoff single from Hector. Andrew Budzinski follows with a Fly ball on the left that gets green. And gets runners at first and second. Both runners were left stranded. And as we head into the bottom of the sixth, with the score still 5-2, and 1 out, Devin McPhail lost the fly ball in the right field, and the right fielder makes a good effort for it. Can't quite come up with it, and Devin is left at second base as we can't drive him in, so the score remains 5-2 headed into the seventh. Mansfield scored 2 runs in the top of the seventh, and then with 2 outs, and the Panthers' last at bat, Osvaldo extends the inning with a single up the middle. Then the game ends with a strikeout with a final score of 7-2. Mansfield's on their way to another playoff berth, and the Panthers still fighting to claw into the playoffs. The Panthers head to South Grand Prairie. Pretty tough place to play. We've had some good ball games in the past, and it seems like every one of them has playoff implications. This one did too. In the top of the second, trailing 1-0, Salinas leads off with a walk. And then with 1 out, Noah comes up and drives the ball into the left center field gap. Oz comes all the way around to score, and the Panthers tie it at 1. Nick comes up with 2 outs, hits a fly ball, and with 3 people converging on it, the center fielder slips and falls. The ball falls, and the Panthers plate their second run of the game as Martell hustles around to score and push the score to 2-1. South scored to tie it at 2, and then moving action to the fourth. Hector singles again, this time to the left side, as we get our leadoff man on again. Noah then hits a ground ball through the left side. And with Cron running on the pitch, he's able to go first to third. And the Panthers have runners at the corner and a chance to score. With the runners at second and third, Nick Chavez hits a fly ball in the left for the first out. We hold up Cron, and then with 2 outs, we get a fly ball by A.J. Castro to end the inning and end the Panthers rally for the fourth. South scored 2 runs in the bottom of the sixth to take the lead at 4-2, and then the game ends on a foul pop by George Trevino, and the Panthers fall in this contest by a final score of 4-2. With that win, South Grand Prairie clinched the playoff berth, and the Panthers still fighting to find their spot in the mix. Another odd weather game against Cedar Hill. The first time at Cedar Hill, we had cold winds and drizzle. This night was pretty much the same. Wasn't as cold, but you can see there we got some fans with blankets and jackets on, and some that don't have any jackets on. Big contest here for the Panthers. With a win, they could sweep the season series against Cedar Hill and pretty much eliminate Cedar Hill from the playoff picture and increase the Panthers' chance of getting in. And just like the round 1 matchup, we start George Trevino, and we get action started off right off the bat with Raul Gonzalez leading off the bottom of the first with a triple to right center as he hustles around the bag and beats the throw from the relay man. That's baseball's most exciting play right there. Head first dive in third. That's promptly followed by a George Trevino fielder's choice with the infield back. Good piece of situational hitting by George. And the Panthers are quickly ahead by a score of Score remained 1-0 into the bottom of the second. Andrew Budzinski leads off with a hit by pitch. He wears that one in the arm and gets a man on base for us. Nick Chavez then lays down a bunt to advance Andrew into scoring position. A walk to Devin puts another base runner on for the Panthers. And we try to get two guys in scoring position for Raul. Doesn't quite work out. We get thrown out at third base. And then with Raul still at the plate, he singles sharply in the left. That drives in McPhail. And the Panthers take a 2-0 lead. The inning continues. There's a pickoff attempt that's thrown wild. Raul gets to his feet quickly and hustles to third. And with Trevino still at the plate, George singles into left field to put another Panther run as they take a 3-0 lead into the top of the third. In the bottom of the third, Panthers get their leadoff man on again. Hector takes the ball in the back of the leg. He's able to tough it out and continue running the bases. Martell draws a walk, puts runners at first and second. That brings up Andrew Budzinski, who executes a sacrifice bunt, which turns into a base hit when the bunt's pretty much perfect. That loads up the bases for the Panthers with nobody out, and we're looking to put on 3 or 4 more runs this inning. Next batter, Devin, grounds into a fielder's choice as the first baseman throws home. Then with 2 outs and bases loaded, Raul comes up, gets his third hit of the night, drives in a run as Martell crosses the plate to make the score a 4-0. And that ended the Panthers scoring for the inning and unfortunately for the night. We got a good rain shower, some light rain. Cedar Hill scored 4 in their 5th inning and 1 in the 7th. And that put Cedar Hill up 5-4. With 1 out, Osvaldo singles in the left field, and after a bobble by the left fielder, he tries to extend it into a extra base. But the left fielder makes a pretty good throw, and it's in time to get Salinas at second. The game ends on a ground ball back to the mound. A few words are spoken from the pitcher's mouth, and he ends up getting ejected. But the game ends with a final score of 5-4, and the Panthers lose a tough one in this matchup. Is this Augusta or is this Midlothian High School? An immaculate baseball field. Looks like fairways at Augusta. We're facing Midlothian and their ace, Russell Smith. We get things started quickly with another single by Raul Gonzalez. There's still nobody out. George executes a hit and run for our second hit of the game and puts runners at first and second. But then Russell Smith dug in his heels and started making pretty good pitches. He gets 2 strikeouts, and then the inning ends with a strike him out, throw him out double play at third. And that ends the Panther offense in the first. Freshman A.J. Castro takes the ball, try to shut down the Midlothian Panthers. However, they push 2 runs across in the bottom of the first. But the second inning starts with a great at-bat by Noah. He was down in the count, fouled off a lot of tough pitches, ended up working a walk. With 1 out, the play is, I guess, executed. Noah advances to third base on a pass ball, but he's stranded at third in the Panthers' second. And with the score 4-0, as the Midlothian Panthers add 2 in their bottom of the second, we pick up action at the top of the third with 1 out. Raul reaches base again with a walk, but he is later stranded in that inning as we can't drive him in. Then the wheels kind of fall off in the bottom of the third. Bases are loaded. They get a bases clearing double with nobody out. That pushes 3 across. They later scored 4 more to run the score to 11-0. And then in the top of the 5th, the ball game ends with a fly ball in the center off the bat of Chris Polk, as this contest ends with a final score of 13-0. This is the last time the Panthers will visit Midlothian, as they will be moving on to a different district.
Okay, Scott. Each week we have a play of the week, and Coach Fahey, who is it this time?
It'll be the first at bat back from an injury by our second baseman, Raul Gonzalez. He came up to the bat in the bottom of the first against Cedar Hill and promptly hits a leadoff triple for the Panthers. And that's why it's the Panther Play of the Week.
The Play of the Week is brought to us by the Pope Financial Group of Raymond James. For all your investment needs, call John or Don at 972-780-0533 or come by 222 East Wheatland right here in Duncanville. It's the Pope Financial Group of Raymond James.
Well, with just a week or so left in District 8 6A play, here are the current standings. Midlothian is still undefeated in district. South Grand Prairie and Mansfield are 8-3, and those 3 teams have qualified for the playoffs. Grand Prairie is 4-6. Cedar Hill is 3-7. Panthers 2-8, and DeSoto 1-9. DeSoto actually is the only team out of the playoff picture, as the Panthers could catch both Cedar Hill and Grand Prairie. Scott, you got a couple 3 games left. When are they and where are they?
Well, Friday night, April 22nd, we play at home against Grand Prairie. It'll be a big night for events and the fans. We're going to rename the stadium after Bob Rombach, the legendary coach for many years here in Duncanville. After that, we travel to Tyler Lee for an afternoon game on Saturday, April 23rd at noon. And then the final game of the year of the regular season will be April 26th on Tuesday at DeSoto High School.
Scott, as an aside, I saw in the paper this past week where the UIL is considering a rule regarding the number of pitches that you can make and how long you got to wait after you pitch, and what's that all about?
Well, I think it's about protecting the players and their arms. A lot of people see their arms as a money-making tool, not just as a tool to help their teams win. I think it's gone a little bit overboard. I know it's been in the talks for a couple of years, and they're going to start, I guess, trying to write legislation about pitch limits and pitch counts. But they're opening up a real big can of worms, because there's a lot of stuff to consider in this whole situation. Things like the body type of a player. No 2 people are built the same, with height, weight, arm to leg length ratios, things like that. Heart, you can't measure heart. Some guys want to go out there and do it all that they can to get a win for their team. And just looking at some of the research and some of the examples from other states and their pitch counts, there's an example of at 110 pitches, you must take the kid out of the game. Well, what if a kid's got a no-hitter in a state championship game? You're going to make the kid leave the game, possibly with a tie and run at the plate, and what happens if the relief pitcher comes in and ties the game with a home run, and then they lose the game on a bad call by an umpire? There's just so many things that are going to have to be micromanaged that it's unfortunate. There's training methods that can help prevent injuries. Just a whole lot of stuff that I wish they could figure out.
Okay, well, we'll be interesting to see how that progresses. Right. Well, thanks for being with us, and best of luck to you. And we'll see you at the next games. and we'll see you at on the next show.
All right.
We'll be back on May the 9th with the next edition of Duncanville Weekly News, to include a Panther Dugout Show with Coach Fahey. Don't forget, the 21st is the Candidates Forum, Thursday night, 7 o'clock at the City Hall facility. Also, this weekend, the 22nd and the 23rd, is the Barbecue and Blues, the Lions Club project. And if you haven't heard about that, you've been in a cave for about 2 or 3 months. Hope to see you there. Also, don't forget, on the next show, we'll have the results of the local elections and more. Hope to see you then.